Welcome back, everybody. We're wrapping up another week of fantasy baseball, getting you ready for the week ahead, maybe the season ahead if you're looking to make some trades, some season-long moves. And speaking of trades and season-long moves, we had a big one yesterday for your Marlins, Pierre. Their best hitter, Luis Arias, is now a Padre. So break this down both as a Marlin fan and as a fantasy baseball player.
It might soon be ex-Marlin fan. I don't know. I'm a loyalist. I grew up, born and raised in the 305, so I'm a Marlins fan. I remember when the Marlins didn't exist. That's been my team since they first came up. But it's tough. It's tough these days. I know it's not like the only long-suffering fan base. Hey, at least we have World Series titles, but it feels like a long time ago because it's been a long time ago. It's been 20 years. It's hard to swallow when a team is just making it so blatantly obvious that they don't care about winning, and not just this year, but next year. And you hear the party line of, "Oh yeah, we're keeping one eye on the present, one eye on the future." Like, what eye possibly looks at this and says, "Yeah, we have a chance to not be the worst team in our division"? I mean, come on. It was pretty obvious before the season when they did absolutely nothing in free agency. Like, that's pretty obvious. You don't care about contending. But then also now, not even close. Like, it's not even close to being close to the trade deadline. Like, you know what? This guy, he doesn't fit into our culture. He's a little too good. Let's just move on from him. It's like, come on. And they didn't get a high-end prospect. They did get multiple prospects, but there's not one guy you point to here like, okay, he could be a difference maker next year, 2 years from now. So, yeah, frustrating to say the least. As for fantasy, I will say this, for the Padres, good for them, but also this offense, before the season started, it looked like we had half a lineup that was really good and half a lineup you're like, where's this coming from? Like, didn't know what was going on. But now everything's falling into place. Yerkson Profar has been solid. Leading off now in these days. And then we got Arias here slotting in DH. Jackson Merrill has been really good in his rookie season. And all of a sudden, this is one of the better offenses in the National League, really. So this is just another piece. It seems like the Padres, with their pitching being better already than last year because of Cease and their bullpen reinforcements, they made some smart moves, very smart moves, meaning they didn't go all crazy like last year and just empty the wallet and just say, hey, let's buy every high-priced free agent we can. They actually made smart moves this year, so their offense looks legit, their bullpen is legit, and the rotation is just as good with Musgrove getting it together. Padres might actually be better than last year when they had Juan Soto and spent a lot more money.
All right, and now, do you feel like there's a chance we could see other Marlins moved, like Jazz Chisholm? Edward Cabrera. Could we see some of these young guys get moved before the deadline?
I will definitely see some other guys move. Jazz, no, I think he's still kind of the face of the franchise, the cornerstone. He's not yet to cost them too much where they feel like they have to move on from him. I do think it's just inevitable we're going to see more Marlins moved. I think the guy who is probably most likely to get moved sooner than later is Jesus Luzardo. Their top pitcher, who right now is on the IL, so it's a bad time to trade him. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of time before he gets traded. There's so many teams that need pitching. The pitching is what's really going to draw attention. And the Marlins do have, of course, a lot of young pitchers still improving. Cabrera, if they can get a haul for him, which who knows, he'll have to really show more for that to happen. But again, this is not a guy who's costing them much right now. So it would take a fairly good return. But Luzardo, yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. It's just when, not if, you get traded into who. I mean, it could be the Braves, could be the Orioles, something like that.
All right, we'll definitely keep an eye out on that. And if something breaks, we'll let you know. Now let's go to some more positive, good teams. No offense to the Marlins. The Twins, we talked about them. I think on Wednesday we talked about them. They did see their winning streak end at 12, but still they're on fire. Astros look like the Astros again. And am I reading this right? The A's are 500? What's going on here?
The A's very fortunate now. They get to play the Marlins, and they They beat up on them yesterday. I think it was it 20-4 or something?
Yeah,
like
somebody
utterly
streamed Trevor
embarrassing.
Rogers against them. That did not.
Yeah. Okay. Trevor Rogers. Yeah. Just for. I mean, how many Marlins do you want to keep these days? But yeah, Trevor Rogers. Just forget it. I rage dropped him in a deep, deep league where I didn't start him, thankfully. But yeah, just forget it. Just forget it. Yeah, the A's. I mean, look, they haven't had the toughest schedule because they've gotten to play some other bad teams, but still, good props to them. I mean, this is a team we thought was going minor league and just giving up. They have at least fought. And so this is where we see those things turn around. The teams that you thought were going to be the worst of the worst, like the Twins, were horrible to start. The A's, of course, were horrible. All of a sudden, they're winning. And then some of those hot teams are starting to come back down to earth. So this is when just regression hits. It just happens. It's normal, right? The Astros, we knew, was a matter of time. They were too talented to not be better than they were. So that was just kind of inevitable. But the main thing with them is those injuries, right? The pitching injuries. They finally got some pieces back. The A's, I have no explanation. I'm not sure how they're really winning at all. They made some moves that have worked, but hey, props to them. I don't feel like it'll last. Just saying, I don't feel like it's a playoff team. I think we have to be realistic here. But yeah, this is the time where you're going to see some reversals of fortune. So beware of that. With baseball, it's always a big, long roller coaster, right? You know, we say like in NFL, every week it changes, right? You never know. It's the same with baseball. It's protracted, right? It's a little bit more of a slow, prolonged roller coaster.
All right, yeah, I'm trying to keep the faith with some of these guys. I read people saying like, it's only May, and I'm like, what do you mean it's only May? But okay, if you say it's only May, then it's only May.
Well,
All
we
right,
are now at this point, I think, like a fifth of the way through the season. It's long enough that we can start to say, okay, this guy's not hacking it, or, you know, like you've had your chance. There's only so long you can say like, okay, let's give him some more time. At some point, you got to do something.
So you're saying I can drop Julio Rodriguez now?
You should absolutely drop him, but just let me know before you do.
All right, and then before we get to the questions, if you guys haven't seen the latest video today, I know Harry did, because Harry said was appreciative of the 2-start streamer video that dropped this morning. If you're looking for pitching help this week, you want to get 2 starts, I know it's a very common strategy. Go check that out. So just real quick, don't want to spoil the whole video, of course, because I want you to go watch it, but maybe just break down 2 maybe your favorites this week, or a couple guys that you think could surprise. Give me just a couple of them.
So the idea here now, not everybody does this because some people are in weekly leagues. You know, we're playing weekly right now, and a lot of people are in competitive leagues. They're weekly, head to head. Not everybody. Sometimes you're just in a traditional roto season long. You don't need a weekly streamer. But even if you don't, even if it's not a weekly scoring league, you still benefit from these streamers. Guy is coming up with 2 easy matchups, or he's starting to pick things up when he was slow early. It still helps you to get these guys who can, you know, you can pluck off the waivers for free and they give you strong starts. So you don't have to be in a weekly league to do this strategy. But I'm focusing just on the guys who are going to make 2 starts this coming week, projected to be. So a lot of times you look at players, pitchers, starting pitchers specifically on the waiver wire that, you know, you look at their ERA, you're like, nah, forget it. Keep scrolling. But you always have to dive a little deeper if you look and do the research, which is I do the research for you. Sometimes it was one really bad start that affected things. Sometimes the first 3 starts were bad, but the last 2 were really good. Right? It just really depends. So like a guy like Andrew Haney is somebody I'll look at. He's been, you know, a solid starter for a few years. He's always had injuries, but he's always had kind of that tantalizing upside. But he's always been inconsistent, right? Whether it's injury or it's just how he is. So he's already shown us his bad this year. I think it's time for the good. His last start was really good, 7 innings. Finally, I think he's ready to have a good week. So he's a guy I'm actually looking to pick up right now in leagues where I could use a streamer. And then someone who is just starting to come on, talk about those Twins. Well, the offense has picked up a Simeon Woods Richardson is a pitcher that I'm not quite ready to put out there as a waiver wire, like must add. I want to see a little bit more. That's just how I am. But he's been good so far in his spot starts. If he continues, he might stick in that rotation. But he's also got good matchups this coming week. He gets Seattle and Toronto, which you say, okay, well, those are pretty good teams, but they have not been good offenses at all this season. And if you look specifically just in the past week, lately, they've been extra bad. So that's what we want to look for. Not just, you think of, well, Toronto, they have Vlad Guerrero and they have Bo Bichette. Yeah, what have those guys done this year, right? Eventually, maybe they'll be good. Seattle, Julio Rodriguez, Mitch Garver, are these guys? Yeah, they're good players, but they have not been hitting well at all lately. That's what you want to do. Take advantage of those choice matchups and pitchers who could be ready to take advantage. So those are two pitchers I'm looking for in those weekly leagues. And there's a few others as well, but yeah, check that out if you haven't already.
Yep, go check it out. And also, you should definitely go check out Underdog Fantasy if you haven't already. A great way to get your fantasy baseball fix outside of your roto, head-to-head, points leagues, whatever you're in. You can see right now there's still games tonight. Looks like we got Giants Philly. Looks like, oh, that's the last game. Okay, we got one more game tonight, Giants versus Philly, but you can go make some picks on that. They also have in-game picks, so you can see right here we got some picks for games currently going on. Hey, Miami might win today. Look at that, 8-2. Maybe this was the jolt the Marlins needed. I don't know, or maybe it's just one day. We'll see. But anyways, if you haven't checked out Underdog Fantasy yet, this is a perfect time. Go try it out. Make sure you sign up, or make sure when you do sign up, you use promo code ENDGAME, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. They're just going to give you free money to try out there. So definitely check that out. Now, before we get to your questions, as always, I will let you know we're going to do our best. We'll probably cut it in an hour because I believe we're doing a fantasy football draft after this because I think it's officially fantasy football season again.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. If you want to guarantee your question gets answered, or you just want to leapfrog everybody and get your question to the front of the line, or you just want to say thanks for, the hard work Pierre puts into this, you can drop a super chat of any amount, and we will get to your question right away and make sure we answer it. So with all that out of the way, let's get going. So first here was Owen saying thank you. Thank you, Owen. All right, first question, do you think Eric Fetty is coming back down to earth? Are you dropping him?
Yeah, 20.
And I guess we can, since we're on the topic of pitchers, is Musgrove worth holding?
Well, yeah, I talked about the Padres at the top there of the show. Musgrove finally looked like himself. His last outing was really good. So I do think to some extent it was because of injuries and not just, whether he's 100% or not, but, it takes a veteran, especially like him, some time to kind of get right and get back, when the spring is either shortened or, he had so much time off. It's hard to fully buy him, but I will say this, 3 of his last 4 starts, actually, I should even say, look, it's 4 of his last 5 starts have been quality starts. So I think he's a case where the bad starts have made his ratios look a lot worse than they are. So yes, I'm going to hold Musgrove for now. I think that you can. Now it depends how deep the league is that you're in, right? If you're asking to hold him over X player, it depends who X player is. But I think you can hold for now.
Okay, then what about Fetty?
Fetty, it's funny that he asked this now because I just finally was like, okay, I'm in on him, right? I'll buy in. I was waiting. I was like, let's see it. I did some deep dive and looked at what happened, and I was like, okay, I'm in. And then, of course, he had a bad start against a bad offense. That's just the way it is. So I'm not ready to jump ship right now because he had just come off his very best start of the season. We don't want to overreact to one bad start, right? This is just maybe some regression. He was off that day. He walked 5 batters. So I don't want to drop him just based on one bad start. Now, if he has another bad start, okay, fine. Then we'll say hitters have figured him out. But no, don't hold just yet.
All right. Keep the faith. Hopefully it'll get better for you. All right, we got Kawahu Lazo. Apologies if I did not pronounce that right. I'm doing my best. Are you dropping CES for Manzardo?
Finally, it happened. Manzardo, I've been talking about him all year. It looks like he is going to get the call. I'm picking him up. CES, I think you can drop him because is somebody really rushing out to pick him up? Probably not. Yeah, I think that Manzardo is going to hopefully be the guy who does what you thought CES might do. I'm not completely giving up on Encarnacion, rest of season, but look, until he starts hitting, let's just leave him out there. And that goes for another player some people are asking about. But yeah, I'm in on Manzardo. You know this. I'm picking him up. Yeah, you can drop CES.
All right, then we got a super chat from Said. Always here with us. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce that. He's trying to trade Tyler O'Neill for a first baseman. Who do you think is a fair target for Tyler O'Neill?
Good question. All right. Tyler O'Neill has been on fire, so we have to start with the realistic. Of course, you know this. You play fantasy. You're not getting Freddie Freeman for him or any of those top players, Bryce Harper. It has to be fair. We don't want to insult anybody and shut them down as a trade partner permanently. I think Christian Walker is pretty fair. He's a guy who'll put up pretty similar numbers without the steals, of course. You're getting a first baseman. You're not getting steals just anyways. Maybe Freddie Freeman. He's not even stealing this year. Who knows why. So I think that is still fair. Josh Naylor, I think, is fair. Again, you're not looking – I know you want to say, like, I'm going to come out ahead of this deal, and, you can try to buy low maybe and try to go for Vlad. Some people are frustrated with Vlad. Of course, he did just hit a grand slam, but still, numbers in the season are disappointing. Oh, you got denied on Walker. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I get it. That's fine because a player like that is more valuable at first base. I think those are the type of things you can do. You can try for Vlad, which I don't expect they'll say yes, but you never know. Or maybe somebody like a Naylor. I think that's reasonable.
All right, there you go. Go try for those guys. Thanks for the question, as always. And then we got another one from Brandon Norris.
Thank you.
A couple of Garcias here. Mikael Garcia, Luis Garcia Jr., Loperfido, Sterling Marte, Joe Adell, Tyler Black. Keep 2, cut 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cut the rest?
4. Keep 2, cut 4.
Wow, okay. You can only keep 2 here. I'll say I like Tyler Black, but I don't think I would keep him over the rest of those guys. I really want to keep Starling Marte because he's looking kind of like vintage Starling Marte. He's been good all season. I want to keep him. Luis Garcia has been good. He's still been hot. You got him, right? You're enjoying him.
He's been the sad thing about my team is I think my 3 best hitters have been Sal Perez, who's been awesome this year.
Yeah.
Jake Cronenworth, who I grabbed off waivers, and Luis Garcia, who I grabbed off waivers. Those are my 3 best hitters right now.
Sometimes you got to make do with the waiver wire. Hey, that just means you're making smart moves.
Or my studs aren't very good.
Yeah, well, a little of both. I'm going to say this. I like Loperfido as a prospect, but he's yet to binge on power. I don't think I'm going to put him over those guys who can get me steals as well. I'm going to keep Marte. I think right now I'm just all in on the Joe Adell train. I'm just going to keep riding it. Just Joe Adell for the win. If he starts to fall back to earth, okay, if you're keeping the rest of these guys just out on waivers, I mean, I'm sure you could probably pick up somebody at some point. I'm not sure why you have to cut 4 people. But anyways, I'll say Marte and Adell. Or maybe this – yeah, I'm like leave the rest of them. I guess they're already on waivers. I mean, if these guys are all on waivers, then it's fine. You can always pick up somebody. So I'll go Marte and Adell.
All right, there you go. Then Pistol RX with the Superman. Just saying thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right, another guy on my team, Tribal979. Is it time to drop Jung-Hoo Lee? He had a good stretch there, but it does feel like he hasn't been doing much. I've been benching him lately. So what's your expectation here?
I have him in a few leagues, as it turns out, because I feel like I got a good discount on him on draft day. hasn't really done a lot, right? It's just kind of there. He's playing every day. He's hitting the top of the order. That's good, but we're not seeing a lot of power. He's not really stealing bases. He's just kind of there, you know. That's I feel like that's how the whole Giants offense is. They're just kind of there. Like you look and they're like, okay, like, you know, score like 3 runs. They don't really, bless you, don't really have a lot of power, not a team that runs a lot. They're just a very unexciting offense. I just feel like he fits in there. In fantasy, we don't want that. So I feel like he's kind of a deeper option that you can put as your third, fourth outfielder. Yeah, but I don't know if the upside is really there. You know, he's. Am I expecting some sort of a sudden surge or hot streak? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So, are we saying he's droppable if there's somebody you like more?
Yeah, I think he's droppable. Look, any of those players that the previous question, you know, were just mentioned, I think you can drop him for any of those players.
All right. JC says all 3 of these are available. He's going to drop AJ Puck. All right. Christian Scott, John Means, or Taj Bradley?
Well, hey, Means is a player that probably is going to get picked up a lot. I mean, he probably already was picked up a lot after his first start. Yeah, I picked him up in our league, and I was like, okay, I'm going to wait, right? First game off of injury. He hasn't pitched in forever. I'm going to play it safe. Yeah, sometimes playing it safe, you regret that because he was great. I'm going to pick up Means. I'm going to probably play it safe with those other guys, Scott and Bradley, because these are young pitchers. I do think Bradley has a lot of upside long term, but let's see how he does his first couple of starts back. But right now, I think it's Means. And your current SPs, yeah, Grayson is hurt, Peralta, Jones. Okay, well, you got some good pitchers. Yeah, you're fine. You don't need some sleeper to come up here and give you this hidden upset. You have great pitching staff. So, yeah, just go with Means.
All right, go get him. And then Antoine, Hauser or Pajas for the long run?
Go with the guy who's been raking. It's Pajas. He's been great. Hauser is cooled down. Starting to worry. He's been losing at bats. So I think right now we're gonna go with the Dodger.
All right. And then we got 2 questions. One from Yakir, what do I do with Wyatt Langford? And one from Said, what do I do with Wyatt Langford? So, what do they do with Wyatt Langford?
You know, it's one of those things. You're afraid to drop a player like that because you know the potential, right? You know all the hype he got preseason. You're afraid that if you drop him, someone else picks him up and then he goes off. But at the same time, that fear might be hurting you because you got him in your lineup and then he keeps going 1 for 4, 0 for 3, 0 for 4. There's nothing that shows me he's ready to do anything different. There's no StatCast, stat. There's no recent. There's nothing that shows that he's going to all of a sudden turn it on. It doesn't mean he can't, but I would just say this. If you need to drop him, I think you finally can. I prefer to bench if possible and stash if possible, but I get that it's not always possible.
All right. Looks like it's time to move on if you need to. Yakir with another question. Are Trevor McGill and Daniel Hudson both closers at the moment?
They are not. No, they are not. McGill, I don't think ever is really going to take saves. I'm not sure. A lot of people thought he might be, but no, I think it might just be best to avoid that whole situation.
By the way, can anybody explain how I have 3 closers on my team and I didn't get a single save this week?
I'm in same situation. One of mine, no saves, none at all. Just
not a single save. Okay, all right. Good thing I got three guys just sitting on my bench, not even pitching. It's funny because they put Alexis Diaz in every now and then when they're he hasn't pitched in a while. They'll just put him in there, but it's they're losing 8-0. Okay, go out there and pitch in the 9th and just get woo.
Yeah, it happens. I know.
It's not why I picked them up. I picked them up for the saves. Well, I didn't pick them up. I traded them from you, but I traded them for the saves. But anyways, Chris, what's up, Chris? I like that name. Thoughts on Jared Jones moving forward?
looks like a stud. Again, let's not just hand him the Cy Young just yet, or even Rookie of the Year. But hey, it looks legit. I will say right now, I'm afraid he's getting a little too overhyped in some circles. But yeah, this guy looks legit. So he probably would be actually getting more hyped if he was on the Pirates. I know that. But yeah, the wins might be here and there sparse. But yeah, I think this is a legit potential future ace. But just watch, as soon, the minute that Paul Skeens comes up, everyone's going to be like, Jared, who? Like, who's that guy?
That's how it goes. All right, how about a dynasty question? It's dynasty season. It's always dynasty season. Jason wants to know, what do you think about Jacob Young in dynasty?
I'm not going to buy into Jacob Young. In fact, I think this might be a good time to sell high on Jacob Young. I mean, Young wasn't really expected to even be a regular outfielder this year. And now he is, because Robles has been hurt. But man, they have so many young outfielders just waiting to come in. Of course, Cruz and Wood. He's going to get squeezed. He's going to get squeezed out of a spot. So Jacob Young in dynasty, not buying. If I have him, I'll sell probably right now. Sell high.
All right, there you go. Sell high. All right, how about another guy I got on my team? It doesn't seem like he plays very often these days. So should Owen drop Blaze Alexander for Josh Smith?
Yeah, I feel like I haven't heard much about Blaze lately. He was off to a blazing hot start, but yeah, he's cooled down a little bit.
Lineup very often. I mean, like this week he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like he was in the lineup for five days this week. It's like, and then last week he was out. Like last week he was out of the lineup like 4 times. It's like, I don't know, are they setting him against lefties or righties or something?
Not that I know. I mean, he shouldn't be, but yeah, I think he's just cooling off. You know, he's actually hitless his last 3 games. Power hasn't shown up lately, so he's kind of settling in a little bit after the hot start. I think he'll be fine. I mean, look, they need him because Perdomo's still in the IL, probably for a while. Jordan Lawler is going to be out months, so there's no reinforcements there. Ahmed is gone. I think he'll still be pretty much an everyday player. He's in a good offense, so no, I don't think I would drop him just yet.
Okay, I guess Owen, you and I are holding them. We're holding them and see what happens. Popcorn and Milk. I feel like, okay, Popcorn and Milk was with us on football, wasn't he? Because I remember this name, and I remember thinking, like, that's a weird combination, Popcorn and Milk. But hey, you know, everybody's got their thing. Rizzo or Manzardo?
Yeah, like together, or I don't know.
I guess you have popcorn in one hand and a glass of milk in the other, and you eat some popcorn and wash it down with milk? I don't know.
Sure, why not? I mean, milk kind of goes with everything. Rizzo or Manzardo? Rizzo is fine. It's been okay, but we want more than fine and okay. And what is his upside? It's just, he is what he is. Take a chance here. Take a swing at Manzardo, see if he comes up, you know, guns blazing. If he doesn't, is someone really rushing out to pick up Rizzo and you're like, that's it, I lost Rizzo the rest of the season. The fact that you're considering, you know, switching him out for a rookie who's yet to play tells you, you know, Rizzo is kind of replaceable at this point. So I'm in on Manzardo, so I'm going for Manzardo.
All right, we're getting a lot of Manzardo questions. I'm going to skip ahead to another one. Loperfido or Manzardo from Dev Brew?
Loperfido's been solid. I think I'm still going to go Manzardo here because, again, it's easy to say before the guy's even played for the big club yet, but let's see what he can do, right? Let's see what he can do.
All right, and then we got Unknown Screwdriver back with a big trade. Are you ready for this? Should he trade away Albies, Mitch Keller, and Crochet, and Jackson Merrill, it looks like. So he's trading away Albies, Mitch Keller, Garrett Crochet, and Jackson Merrill for Luis Arias, Joe Ryan, and Corey Seager. Which side do you like here?
Okay, let's break this down. I'll say Albies, Corey Seager, right? Those are like your comparables there. Albies has been better this year. But that's still it's pretty even, right? Albies, Seager, maybe slight edge to Albies. Joe Ryan, I prefer Joe Ryan over those starting pitchers. I'll just say this: Mitch Keller to me kind of doesn't even factor into this deal. I'm not interested in Mitch Keller. I like Crochet. You saw he was good last start, but I'd prefer Joe Ryan. Arias for Merrill, I think I prefer Arias. So I'm going to give the edge to the second side, the Arias, Ryan, Seager side.
Well, in that case, I think you should make this trade because he's saying he's trading away those other guys. So,
yep.
Go do
so
it.
Do it.
Do it. All right. Speaking of Crochet, Gamaxco, what's up? Crochet just had a good outing again. Is he a buy low?
Yep.
Or a buy high or whatever he is might be right now.
Probably still, he was dropped in a lot of leagues. That's why I put him just last week on the buy low. People are going to see that one star and they're going to be like, okay, I'm out. That's just like what I just said earlier about Fetty. Just because he had a bad start for the first time this year, you can't just be like, all right, that's it. Like, I'm done. No, I mean, let's not let the recency bias, overwhelm us here. So I'm in on Crochet not because he just had a good start, but because he was good all season. He just had two unfortunate, bad starts, but he was still pitching well. Sometimes we have to look, especially in baseball, and here's the thing. We have to kind of prioritize the process over the results. Sometimes you have bad outcomes, but it doesn't mean it's always because you're performing badly, right? Sometimes hitters get lucky. Sometimes your defense let you down. Sometimes, just a couple of twists here and there change things. So, I'm in on Crochet. So seek him however you need to seek him.
All right, we got a super chat from Antoine. Thank you so much. Another trade question: Machado and Volpe for Jose Ramirez and Pajas. He's got Gunnar Henderson. So which side do you like here?
Ooh, now this is an interesting one. Okay. I prefer Ramirez over Machado for sure. I think I prefer Volpe still to Pajas, but I'm trying to think long term. Like as far as speed, you're getting speed from one guy, not the other, in each side. I think steals winds up pretty comparable. Power, you should come out ahead for the Ramirez side. Average, I mean, I don't know. It should be close. This is a tough one. This is actually a really tough one. If position doesn't matter, if you're just looking for straight up offensive value, again, not knowing your scoring system, not knowing anything about your league, man, this is really tough. This is close for me. I think I barely give the edge to the Ramirez side, but it's almost too close to call without knowing your team needs.
All right, so if you want to drop down there, maybe let us know what your team needs more. We can help clarify that. Sounds like a pretty even deal there, though. All right, Anthony, what's up?
What's up?
Just got in after throwing some things around the room thanks to Edwin Diaz and his blown save. All right, that's frustrating. Glad to see it's not just me.
Even the best of them will have bad outings.
And he said he has some saves. Whichever closer he sits is the one that gets the save.
Yeah, that it happens. And like the Severino wasn't great today. Mets were just off. Sunday, sometimes we see in those Sunday games, right? Certain guys are just off, even though they're playing. They treat it like an off day mentally, and certain players are off. So. Yeah, I feel like the weekend is when you see some of these fluky things happen. But, Edwin Diaz should be fine. He's been fine all year.
And we did get an important clarification here. It is separate. Popcorn in one hand, milk in the other.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Just in case you were wondering. All right, UI2K is Cole Irvin for real.
For real... I mean, he is real. I don't know if he's for real. Nah, I'm not buying too much into Cole Irvin. I think he'll be fine, but he's somebody also I'm not convinced will necessarily be in the rotation by the time the year ends. They move some pieces around. We got players coming back. Obviously, just couple of minutes ago. Talked about one of them with John Means. They may get some more pitchers back soon. I think they're going to make a move pretty soon. So I'm not really in on Cole Irvin right now.
All right, I guess that's a no. Yakir, Johan Rojas or Wenzel Perez?
Perez has been playing pretty well. And here's the difference. Perez has been hitting leadoff. Rojas consistently is hit ninth. That makes a big difference. Yeah, Rojas maybe purely for speed, but even then, I mean, how many steals does he even have this year? I don't think it's that many. So I'm going to go Perez.
All right, go Perez. Owen again wants some thoughts on his outfield. He's got Teoscar Hernandez, Jared Duran, Brian Reynolds, Andy Pajas.
Teoscar's been great to start the season. Obviously, in a great lineup. Duran, I've been big on, and continue to start him. Reynolds, you're good. I mean, you have all players that are worth starting, so I don't think you need to make a move here. Don't feel like you need to do something. I mean, I'd be a little worried about Reynolds because Pirates have been ice cold, and he hasn't, gone off to like an amazing start. But what can you do right now? You don't want to sell low on a guy, so I think you're fine.
All right. Unknown Screwdriver says he does need help with his rotation. Should he try to get Joe Ryan and sell Crochet or someone else? But I mean, someone else.
No.
A lot of people.
Crochet's the buy low, right? I think his actual value is better than his perceived value on the market. So I don't think you're going to get enough in return for Crochet. I'm going to hold on to Crochet. Can you try to get Joe Ryan? Sure, you can. Let me go back to your previous one. I'm trying to think who he said he has. He's got a lot of Jackson Merrill, Cunha, Schwarber, Rosarena, Westberg. Yeah, I mean, your team is very solid. But if you're doing that trade, see, I'm confused because you were just saying, should I try to get Joe Ryan and sell Crochet? I mean, if you're doing that deal, that 4 for 3, I think you're coming out slightly ahead. So I think that's fine. You can still do that deal.
All right, and then Ui2K again. Who would you pick up first, Roddery Munoz or the aforementioned Cole Irvin? In a points league. It's a points league, by the way.
Oh man, Roddery Munoz.
And then he also asked for the same guys. Would you drop Fetty, or is that Eric Fetty?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Fetty.
Yeah, Fetty for Irvin, or would you drop Fetty for either of those guys? And if so, do you prefer one or the other?
No, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not dropping Fetty anyways, just because I'm not giving up after one bad start when he's been good. Yeah, Munoz is. I mean, really. I know I did talk about him on the waiver wire video, but as I said, because he was the very last player, maybe everyone didn't catch it. But I mean, this is really just close your eyes and hope that the dart sticks. This is a total dart throw. This guy was okay. He's only in the rotation, only starting because he's on the Marlins, right? And because every Marlins pitcher is hurt. He was bad throughout the minors. Like, nobody expected him to even be decent. So the fact that he had 2 good starts, it really is out of nowhere. I'm not going to buy into an out of nowhere guy unless he really, really shows it. I know Ronel Blanco is kind of like an out of nowhere guy. He's been good. But Ronel Blanco was amazing in the spring, right? He got some buzz, and he wasn't bad in the minors. He was just okay. Like, he was fine. So he's just a late age breakout. Munoz was actually bad. And he is really more out of nowhere. So not dropping Fetty for him.
All right, and then one more from him. Any news on the returns of Royce Lewis and Christian Yelich? Yeah, what happened to Christian Yelich? He was doing great, and then they're like, oh, his back's a little tight, and now he just is like just disappeared. He's like just gone into the ether. He's gone. Christian Yelich doesn't exist.
What I'm seeing right now, he's making progress. He's starting up a hitting program. It's going to be at least a week or two. You're not going to see him real soon. So he'll be back. He'll be back probably before the end of May, but not imminent. that's the thing. Back, that's a tricky thing. I mean, back is always going to be tricky for anyone, but for a baseball player who's hitting and swinging, and Yelich has a history of back trouble. That's what made it so worrisome when we heard that at first. I don't think we're seeing Royce Lewis anytime real soon either. Just hate to say, I think it's going to be probably the end of May also. A couple more weeks at least for these guys. I can't even say, oh, go out and buy low. I'm not going to buy a guy who's a month away from playing because you're sitting there for a month. So, yeah, the latest news is they're just starting to maybe kind of think about getting back to baseball.
All right.
Not great news.
Not great. All right, how about another injured guy? Do you think Garrett Cole is back in June or after the All-Star break?
I think he's back before the break. We've got some positive news on him, but again, it's going to take a little while. So, yeah, I think June is reasonable, but more like mid to late June.
All right. Ultimate Screwdriver again. Acuna has gone through a mechanical change, and he doubts he'll know how to fix it. Are you trading Acuna?
No. Last I checked, Ronald Acuna was still really good. So I wouldn't worry too much. Look, even if guys do wind up going through some changes or something, they figure it out. They have a whole team of coaches and analytics guys who can help figure it out. No, he's not hitting home runs. He's still stealing a ton of bases. He's still scoring a ton of runs. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, he is scoring a ton of runs. All right, Brandon again. Would you consider Spencer Turnbull a must roster?
No, I know he's been good, but I still consider him a potential trap play. I mean, he's one of those pitchers I feel like as soon as I buy in, he's gonna implode. So maybe I'm being a little too skeptical on him, but he's not somebody I ever feel had this huge upside. He's not a strikeout machine by any means. He was a little more dependent on his defense behind him. Nah, I don't.
All right, and then Paul just joining us. We did talk about Wyatt Langford a few times, had the same question about him, but since he probably just got here, let's let Paul know. How much longer are you holding Wyatt Langford?
Look, if there's a player out there in waivers who is performing, getting you more upside of like a Joe Adele type, that's fine. I think we're at the point right now because I'm looking. I don't see anything that shows me, yeah, he's ready. He's turned around. He's hitting the ball harder. He's chasing less. It's not even that. The guy's just hitting singles once in a while. Like he's not really ready to tap into that power yet. We all get excited about these young players when they're ready to come up and play, and they play, but he's playing, but what is he really producing? So I don't want to drop him if I don't have to yet, but I say if you have a player on waivers now who can help you more immediately, I'm fine dropping. I think you can.
All right. There you go. Thank you, Paul. All right, Uwe2K, what is the Orioles closer situation looking like?
I know Kimbrel has not been that good lately, but I don't think he loses the job just yet. I haven't heard anything officially. I mean, I don't know if he has. I don't think so. But look, they brought this guy in because he's a veteran, figured out. He's not what he used to be, but I think he's still their guy. It's not like they have all these other great options, right? Cano is good, but he's not really a closer. I mean, who else are they going to put in there? I think it's just him. I think it's just Kimbrel.
All right. That's pretty simple. Owen again, how high are you on Yoshinobu Yamamoto?
I'm sky high on him. Yes, I still am all in on him. It's funny that the other big name free agent from Japan has been so much better when this guy got much more money and much more hype. Imanaga has been amazing, but yeah, I think if not for the Padres, really, Yamamoto's numbers would be amazing too. He's done everything you could want for him. 30% strikeout rate. He's been really good. So I mean, I don't know if I can say he's a buy low because there's not really low, but I really think he's just going to get better. So super high, super high.
All right. And then we did talk about this a little bit earlier in the show when we started, but Jacob probably just joining us. Luzardo, is he a good bet to get traded?
Excellent. I'd be shocked if he didn't get traded, and it might not even, obviously with the Marlins, obviously they're not waiting for the deadline. Right? Why wait till July? Just start bidding war now. He might already be on the move if not for the fact that he got hurt. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. He's not just a good bet, almost a sure bet to get traded.
All right. Definitely getting traded. Ricardo, Cowser was dropped in his league. Are you picking him up and dropping Wilyer Abreu?
Cowser's a tough one. Look, I'll say this. I'm not dropping him. I mean, obviously he's cooled down, and my concern now is he going to start losing at bats to Kierstad or somebody else? I mean, the Orioles don't have to be patient with any of their prospects, right? There's no reason to be, but it's not like he's been bad. Abreu is a guy who's been good, but I think I prefer Cowser. Yeah, Abreu. I'll say this. I feel better about Abreu's playing time going forward, but I actually kind of like Cowser potential better. So I think you can do this. I think I'd pick up Cowser. If it were me, I would probably pick up Cowser, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ricardo. And then Popcorn and Milk again is Imanaga, a guy we should look to sell high
on. I mean, if you could get like Yamamoto for Imanaga, sure. If you can get one of the best pitchers in baseball for him, maybe. But otherwise, no, because he's a guy I was high on this preseason. In fact, I know I mentioned him a couple of the draft videos, somebody I was drafting as much as possible. No, I didn't think he would do this. Of course not. But look, sometimes when a guy is just rolling and he's dominating, just enjoy it. Just keep him on your team. Be like, hey, I had that guy.
There you go. All right, 2 from Vinny. First of all, do you think Olsen's struggles will continue?
No, he's got to turn it around. He'll have a hot streak at some point. There'll be a month where he hits like a dozen home runs, maybe more. So he'll definitely turn it around. This guy's been around too long. He'll be fine. So no. Now, is his batting average going to come up to like 280, 290? Probably not. But I said this at the beginning of the season too, or should I say before the season. Look, last year was his career year. He had it. That was it. That was his career. He's not going to have it again. He's not going to hit 50 home runs. He might get you mid-30 to maybe 40 home runs, but there was no way he was going to repeat last year. And, I mean, we have to admit it was going to be the same with Ronald Acuna. He probably wasn't going to have another record-setting season. That's just how these things work, right? So Olsen will definitely turn it around. I'm not going to say he's a buy low because nobody's really probably selling him, but no, he'll be fine.
All right, and then his second question is Shohei Ohtani, the fantasy GOAT.
I think we all know the answer to that. It is yes. I mean, how could he not be? Even without, he didn't even have to pitch. He's still looking like the GOAT.
All right. If you got Ohtani, congrats. Anthony again. Are we seeing Paul Skeens next week? He's been holding on to him. Are we going to see him next week?
That's what a lot of people are speculating. Some people, in fact, think it will be on May 12th, on Sunday. For some reason, he'll come up on Mother's Day. Maybe he will. I'm not going to ever harbor a guess for when a guy gets called up. It is very possible. Look, if you've been holding him, you keep holding him. You definitely hold on to him. Yes, that definitely could be a deadly duo.
All right, and then Verlis, apologies if I mispronounced that. Is Ty France worth a pickup in a head-to-head 5x5?
Well, how deep is it? Like how many teams? 12 team or deeper? Sure. If it's less than 12 teams, no. But he's not a must-add. That whole Seattle offense has been very meh, and that includes him.
All right, and then Owen with a trade question. Should I make a trade Jordan Westberg? More people on the bench get clogged when he's starting, and I think his ceiling can't get any higher. So is he saying he has Jordan Westberg and he's trying to sell high? Is that what I'm reading?
I'm guessing so. I wouldn't say that. Well, okay, like as far as the ceiling getting any higher, I mean, he's been really good, but why can't he just continue higher? Like, is he going to do like reach another level? No, maybe not. But why can't he keep doing what he's been doing? He's been really good. This is a player who's overlooked with all those other Orioles prospects, but he's playing every day. He can qualify second and third. He's in that lineup. I like Jordan Westberg. So, yeah, if you got him, I would just keep him.
All right. Then Tribal saying with Manzardo now being called up, who should we stash? Kobe Mayo or Elvis Martinez or someone else? Now Pierre does do a weekly Beat the Breakout video where he talks about players that you should be stashing. I know you did talk about Elvis Martinez. I don't think it was this week. I think it was last week's video. But
yeah, and it was
two or somebody else.
It was ironic because I talked about Aurelius Martinez, and like the very next day they called up Addison Barger. Well, Addison Barger has been sent back down. So who might be next? I think it might be Aurelius Martinez. So I'm definitely stashing Martinez. I mean, I talked about him like you said a week or 2 weeks ago. Now with Barger struggling and getting options, I mean, it just seems logical for Martinez to come up. Mayo, it seems logical for him to come up. The problem is he's on the Orioles, so where's he going to play? I'll just go for Martinez.
All right. And then back to this question, the Ty France one. He did say it was a 12-team league.
I mean, you can, but honestly, there's probably guys with more upside out there. So I would say only if he's like your best option.
All right. Another guy I have, not Langford, Willie Castro. So Uwe2K saying, would you drop Langford for Willie Castro or Edouard Julien?
Yeah, it seems seems weird to say that we can drop Langford for a guy like Willie Castro, but hey, who's performing right now? I would say do this, get Castro, give you some speed. He's actually hitting. He can qualify. He can be your utility guy. I do like Julien, but he's more just if you need power. But right now, just go for Castro.
Castro's been awesome. I do worry it's going to come crashing down at some point, but he's been awesome. All right, Kevin, what's your thoughts on Ryan Jeffers?
Pick him up. Start him. Twins are still hot. He's been great offensively. He's going to continue to hit. And, man, he's been hitting leadoff in that spot, or at least second. Him and Julien, I guess, kind of been flip-flopping. But, yeah, Jeffers definitely worth adding.
All right, and then also wants to know what's fair trade value for Bryce Harper?
I know his numbers aren't amazing so far this year. We still have to treat him like what he is. He's basically an elite player, a top-tier first baseman now. It would have to take another star player. I mean, there's no way you can say you would get less. I mean, some people will try to do a 2-for-1, for a good player. If it involves a pitcher, maybe like a tier 2 type of pitcher, and another position player, but he's still an elite player and he has to be treated like that. So you're asking, I don't know if you're asking because you have Harper and you're trying to trade him away, or you're trying to get Harper. But yeah, he's still a star player.
And then Jason, speaking of trades, trying to trade away Seth Lugo for young talent, not getting a lot of interest. Can you think of any? No?
Lugo has been around the block many times. All right, he's been really good to start the season, but we know this isn't a player who all of a sudden is going to break out at the age of, I don't know, what is he like? If I had to guess, he's like 33 or something like that. He's not a player who strikes out a lot of batters. He's overachieving a little bit. Let's just face it. You're not going to get young talent in return for him. You're probably not going to get much for him, just to be honest. I would just hold and just keep him in your rotation while you can.
All right, Yakir again. Will Torkelson turn it around?
I sure hope so. Just remember, maybe this isn't like last year, but remember last year, the whole first half, he didn't do much. Just the whole first half of the season. I hope it's not that way, but it's possible. He just comes on late again. So I think he'll turn it around, but yeah, I get it, being impatient with him. You could definitely bench him if you need to, but I mean, he's a talented player. Just I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Just hates the cold weather. I don't know.
Hey, maybe. All right, Owen asking, is Jake Berger worth an IL stash?
If you got an IL spot that you don't need, sure. Do I need to stash him? Not necessarily. I mean, he's a solid player, but again, this Marlins offense just somehow got worse because they made themselves worse. He's got power. He's been hitting for average ever since he got there, so I guess he does like the Miami weather, but the RBI opportunities are going to be more limited. Pitchers are going to be able to pitch carefully around him because they're not worried about who's behind him. So you can stash him if you got the space, but he's not a must stash.
All right.
He's not a mustache.
He's not a mustache.
Or a beard.
Godly Pinhead. Do you like Conha, Castro, Pajas, Josh Smith, or Wilyer Abreu as a waiver wire ad? I guess you're picking one.
Pick one. I'll go with Pajas. He's been hitting really well. My second choice would be Castro.
All right. And then Cerulean Dog, what is up? Thoughts on Ian Happ?
Ian Happ is solid. He still hits usually near the top or middle of that order. Yeah, pretty consistent. He'll be fine. Gets injured here and there. So he's a guy who probably doesn't belong on waivers. Like, he should be at least on fantasy rosters everywhere.
All right. And then Anthony again, will the Rockies keep Jordan Beck up with the club or send him down? He doesn't know what he did today if he even played. Well, I checked. He did play. He went 0 for 3 today. 0 for 3 yesterday, 0 for 4 the day before.
Yeah, he isn't quite lighting it up. I'll just say when Nolan Jones is activated, he'll probably get sent down. So unless he turns it around real quick, yeah, he's probably getting sent down.
All right, and we're just about at the hour mark, and it looks like we are just about through the questions as well. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being on as always. One final reminder. I mean, there's still moments, seconds, minutes to get in your pick'ems on Underdog if you want to do that for the Giants Phillies game tonight, or always tomorrow. They got the pick'ems every single day. Go check it out, underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code ENDGAME when you sign up. You'll get that deposit match up to $100. We got one more Godly Pinhead, since he's always here supporting the channel. We got one more into Shallow League. Is it the right decision to drop Casas to pick up Castro or a pitcher like Assad or Bradish?
You don't have an IL spot where you can put Casas? I really hope you do. I mean, if you don't, then yeah, you can drop him because he's on the 60-day IL. He's going to be out a while. So if it's a shallow league and you don't have an IL spot, then I guess you're going to have to. Should I pick up Castro or pitcher? Well, you got Sean Murphy there. Man, I would rather stash Casas than Murphy.
All right, so drop Murphy.
Yeah, I would drop Murphy. Why is he not back yet? But anyways, should I pick up Castro or a pitcher? It's always more valuable to get a pitcher. So I would probably go for a pitcher. Assad was good again today. I think you can pick up Assad.
All right, then one more. Cali Loco, drop Savali, pick up Scott or Buto. Buto?
Drop Savali, get him out of there. Let's pick up Scott and see what he does. You know, if he's good, you'll be happy. If he's bad, guess what? You drop him and pick up Buto, because that means Buto's got his spot secured. I mean, right? Hedging your bet, sort of.
There you go. All right, guys. Now we are officially going to get off. We are going to go head over and do an Underdog draft on the football channel. So those of you who play fantasy football, maybe like you, Anthony, and you want to try to get into the draft, head on over there. We'll be up in, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Have that ready to go. Don't forget, we'll also be back here Wednesday to answer more of your questions. And, of course, we got videos coming out. Panic, waiver wire, buy low, beat the breakout, players to stash. All these questions you ask, we answer them in the videos all week long. So make sure you check that out. And we'll see you guys back here on Wednesday.